You're a startup founder. You think your product is amazing and feel like more people should be buying, but the road is long and slow. It feels like you're stuck. There's always one thing I ask startup founders. Have you talked to your customers? They almost always say, heck yes, we talk to our customers all the time. But what I find is they're either selling or trying to improve their product. These are not customer-focused conversations. If we can get curious about our customers, then we can uncover critical insights that will help us build to the next round. I'm Anna Firmenov, and welcome to Building with Buyers, a show about startup growth where I'll explore how customers help startups build to the next round.
Jess, I really like your hat. It's a great hat.
Thank you, Anna.
The listener can't see it, but I don't always get people wearing like a beanie, or what would you call this?
Yeah, this is definitely a beanie. It's a Target exclusive. And I wore it today because I didn't get a chance to wash my hair. You know, I had to get the kids out the door. They had like an extra special thing at school. I had to pack some extra snacks and like extra clothing.
I get it, Jess. Yeah. How old are your kids?
I have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old.
I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old.
No way. Oh yes. My gosh. Okay, well, we need to now do a parenting episode.
So much to talk about. So much. But let's get back on track here. So Jess Cook is head of marketing at Vector. Vector is a name that you'll find all over the place on the internet, but there is only one Vector. That is the only way to build ad audiences by name. Contact-based ads platform. That's what Vector is, so that your ads actually reach the right people that are looking to buy. And this is kind of fun because you guys just went through a repositioning exercise.
You did that so well. We literally launched the new positioning yesterday. You read that like, it's been around for ages. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, it makes perfect sense to me. And that's really the test. If Anna can say it and understand it, then we did a great job. So I give you the gold award for that.
Thank you.
It's great. Like, I love simple phrases and simple positioning that, folks outside of the category can understand. I mean, I understand advertising, but I just don't work in paid channels. But this makes total sense. So Vector is venture-backed. And so we'll talk about your team in just a little bit. I'm exploring the role that customers play in helping companies build to their next level of growth. I think customers are very important. I don't think that people stop to consider just how important they are. We're always chasing net new, but as you and I know, a lot of the growth still comes from word of mouth, just like it did hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
Probably not SaaS products, but still comes from referrals, comes from word of mouth, comes from the bottom up adoption. And so I am inviting folks like you to talk more about that. But first, before we get into it, tell me about your team. Is it just you?
It's not just me.
Oh, wow.
God.
Good.
So Vector is 18 people total. That runs the gamut from engineering to marketing to sales.
Seed funded. I forgot to mention that. Yep.
Seed funded. Yeah. In marketing, we have 2 people, myself, and then our incredible product marketing manager, Alex Verdon, who was product marketer at Metadata and went out and started her own thing. And when I was looking for a product marketer, I was like, I kind of want to see if Alex wants to go. And she is unbelievable. So it's just the 2 of us right now. And we're kind of doing our very best to tell the same stories in our respective disciplines. Me being kind of more top of funnel brand, kind of social and content, and her being product led. She was like the lead on all things of this new repositioning and pricing and packaging, enablement, all of those things. So we do a lot of crossover in terms of just like the stories and the narrative, but the actual like output we each deliver is very different.
That's amazing. I love it. It's very complimentary. And it sounds like I always thought the product marketer should be one of the first hires at a company, like so important to get that segmentation, positioning, messaging, right? And tie it back to product. But, that's still at some companies not the case. And it surprises me every time. So it's really cool to hear that that was the person you decided to bring on as your number two. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Your positioning and messaging just changed yesterday.
Yeah.
Tell me about the before versus the after. Like the after I just explained, pretty easy to understand. What was the before and what's your sense of how, well, you haven't really used it yet. It's on building with buyers. So that's
Yeah.
great.
We've done some testing and I can talk through a little bit of that.
Sure. Yeah.
And actually, this story is so perfect for your show because this was our customers led us to this realization that we needed.
Tell me more, Jess.
Yes. Oh, I will. So when I started, we were a contact-based marketing platform. And so we were positioned pretty heavily against account-based marketing as kind of our, villain, if you will, right? That account-based marketing doesn't give you the depth of information that you need. You know which accounts are engaging, but you don't know who. And how can you bring sales in a meaningful way if you don't actually know who is interested in you? And I will tell you, it was like a really great story. And I think served its purpose in that it helped us understand what we weren't pretty quickly. So really what happened was we had this platform where we give you contact level data on who's on your site, who's clicking your ads but not converting, and who's doing research in your space and on your competitors. And we give you those people's names, LinkedIn profiles, their company, their title, right? So you know who is actually really interested. And the immediate thing most people want to do on GTM teams with that information is email that person immediately. Like, don't you want to buy? You are on our blog. You want to buy us, right? And we had...
I get those emails every day.
I do too. So many of them,
Yeah.
right? Do you open them?
I put them into junk.
Yeah.
I mark them as spam.
Exactly.
I used to feel bad about that, but I don't anymore because something's got to change.
Yeah. And we're just inundated, right? And it's like, I can't keep digging into these emails anymore. So what that helped us realize was like the customers that were doing that weren't seeing success for that reason we just discussed, right? The email open rates for those kind of emails are super low. The folks that they were sending those emails to weren't to the point where they were ready to buy. And so it looked like vector wasn't working, right? Like they're like, well, this isn't working. We have the person, you told us who it was, but they don't want to buy. They deleted my email. On the flip side, our customers who were taking these names and pushing them to say LinkedIn ad audiences and putting ads in front of these people who weren't quite ready to buy, but clearly interested in the space and the problem, we're seeing huge success. And it just took us a couple of months to like realize, okay, this group of customers over here is like really thriving with what we're doing. And look at what they're doing. They're all using us for ad audiences. So this was early this year, probably springtime this year, we were kind of starting to see this. And come July, we were like, okay, we've had enough kind of data on this to know we just need to position around this one thing that we do really well and we help our customers win with. So we all got together in July, the entire company, and we kind of had this big come to Jesus meeting that like, we're going to make this pivot. Like that part was not up for debate, but like, what does that mean? What does that look like? How long might that take us? What parts of the product need to come out? What needs to be added to like help us reposition like that? Messaging, what does that look like? What do we need to stop saying? What do we need to start saying?
Who led that meeting? I'm just curious.
That was our CEO, Jess Cook. So he was really kind of the catalyst for this. I think we were all kind of seeing it. Sales was feeling it. Customer success was feeling it because they're trying to field all these different like sales and marketing use cases, only some of which are doing well, right? That's really painful. And so he was the one who was like, I think if we just really focus around this one use case, a lot of these problems are going to go away. And so that really kicked off like a 3-month endeavor that was customer led, like our customers showed us that.
I love to hear that because there are some people out there, not the listener, of course not, right? Not the listener, but there are some people out there that think that you won't get anything from the customer. You have everything right here.
Yeah.
On your team, I'm pointing at my head. The listener can't see that, but everything's already here within our team. We just have to talk about it. We have to talk through it and make decisions and decide. And so we don't go back to the customer and we think like, oh, we'll just check that. We'll make the big decision on positioning messaging. And then we'll go back and we'll just like check it. Eventually we'll refine. The customers will help us refine it. No,
Yeah.
you got to go straight to the customer. And as you had mentioned, like that's where you were able to see where is it working? Where is it not working? I just don't see it any other way, Jess.
No.
How could you pull this out of your butt? And
there's no way.
there's no way. Like
Yeah.
you have to actually look at your customers, who's actually getting the value, seeing the value, who's not, and why.
Yes.
Why is that the case? What is the value? What does that mean to them? And how did they get to a place of like deciding to purchase? And all that stuff is coming from customers.
Yeah.
Not from your head, not from your gut. So awesome.
We even took it a step further. We brought one of our customers to that meeting in July, to that like.
You did? How did you know, like, who did you pick to bring out like the best example?
So, we had a handful of really sophisticated customers who were using us in really interesting ways to build ad audiences. One of those customers was Isaac Ware, who is head of demand gen at UserGems. And we had built some functionality for him because he could really see the promise of like, oh, I want to push these people into an ad audience. And so we had that functionality, but we just made it a little bit like easier. We got a native integration so he could push it directly and not have to download, upload. And he was the one, I think, one of those handful of customers who really helped us see the potential in this use case. And so we brought him with us. Like we flew him out to Boston. He lives in Idaho. So he was like, cross-country trek to come hang with us for a day. And I think what that did was it allowed us to cut down the feedback loop on kind of the decisions we were making in that room on how to move forward.
Just ask Isaac. Isaac knows.
He's right there.
It's not Jess with her opinion. He's right there. Yeah.
And it was so helpful. I think just having him there helped us steer clear of a few pitfalls we would have run into had he not been there right from the jump, right? Just bad assumptions we would have made in that room without having him there that we would have acted on and moved forward on, right? And those things just kind of like, if you make a decision on a bad assumption, like the effects of that just kind of spider out the further you get away from that kind of decision point.
Totally. I love that. I haven't actually heard of this. Like one of the things I'm starting to ask folks, if it makes sense, is like, how do you get the entire company marching to the same beat? Meaning, how do you get everyone to start then using the same positioning messaging, which can be harder. I think that for you guys, it's way easier than it would be for like an 1,800 person company, for example. But I think what you just mentioned with flying a customer in, it's like, hey, Isaac, what do you think? Like, they think this, they think that. What do you think, Isaac? Like, based on what you know. It's, yes, it is one customer, but if it's a really great, they're using the product, it's like the best possible version of a customer, and you want more of those Isaacs.
Yeah.
That's actually, you don't need a lot. Like even in the research that I do, you don't need to talk to 100 customers.
Nope.
You just need the 5, 7, 10, and already at 2 or 3,
you start to see patterns.
Exactly. So that's great. So from what I heard from you, we talked about kind of like the before versus the after. It's probably landing well right now on this podcast really well. But I'll check back with you and we'll learn more about how it's landing with other folks. But it sounds like you were already kind of like, you knew that this was the right direction to go in because it was just the right target buyer for you guys that was getting the most value.
Yeah.
And so tell me more about like, how did you land on this? Like the only way to build ad audiences by name. Like, how did you land on that?
It was a long process. It was a good 3 months between that initial meeting where we all were like, okay, this is happening. Let's go, to yesterday, the launch. from that meeting, like there was a lot of just like logistical stuff, right? Like sitting down and kind of understanding a project plan. What does this look like both on the engineering side, but the marketing side as well? Fitting in some room for like message testing and pricing testing. And so that was kind of where we came up with this. Okay, give us a quarter, like give our team a quarter, give both teams, engineering and GTM, a quarter to really get this untangled together, kind of in tandem. And then, the idea is like when you build a bridge, right? Like you build from each side and it comes and meets in the middle. Like that was the idea. We were each building a side of the bridge. And at first we were like, okay, we know we kind of need to probably move away from this idea of like ABM and probably the idea of like contact-based marketing as like a term that we're going to hang our hat on. But we weren't really sure what the version of that was going to be right. And so the first thing we did was we put out a survey to demand gen marketers who we knew was going to be our kind of our target audience. And we just asked them all kinds of questions around signals they were using. What are the things that keep them up at night? What are they afraid of around budget, around their ad spend? All of the things that you would probably want to know from a demand gen marketer in the year 2025. And we got 80 responses, which felt really, really solid.
What did you use? Did you use a platform to get all those folks?
We just did like a simple Google
Just a Google. Oh, that's it. I love it. Simple is the best.
We just we emailed it to all customers with the applicable job titles. We posted it on social media. So we got a decent response for, just really organic kind of distribution. And we learned a ton from that, right? That like the confidence level in ad targeting is really low, like 5.7 out of 10. And we even felt like that was probably a generous rating. Things about their greatest fear is wasted budget. And, how do they report that back to their C-level execs that they don't really know which part of their budget did the work, right? So from that, we were like, okay, there's some stories that are getting told here that are really interesting. We kind of took all that and synthesized it in the best way that we knew how. And we actually worked with Fletch PMM to do homepage repositioning project because we just knew like that's really where it's going to come to life is on that homepage. And we can kind of borrow from there and expand from there in terms of messaging across the rest of our channels. So that was the next step. We did in between there, we did some testing on winter. We also in tandem worked on pricing and packaging. That was a huge undertaking and worked with a pricing expert from LinkedIn to do that.
Nice.
So yeah, there were so many little like knots to untangle along the way.
Yeah.
Really fun challenges.
But it started with the research, which you needed to do that research before you could whip up like a wireframe, right?
Building ad audiences. That is something we can, if we want to be known for something, that's something people can say like, oh yeah, Vector, they build ad audiences. 2, it was something that gave us a big enough like TAM, right? We could have gotten more specific about building account, kind of still battling account-based marketing and building ad audiences that kind of like subvert the ABM, the negatives of ABM. There were a couple other options, and this was just the one that felt like the right audience, kind of the right size to the problem, and felt really clear and crisp and easy to talk about.
Yeah.
And so the headline we got was not the one that's actually on the site right now. It was the very clear version of what we did. And it just didn't feel quite like us. We're kind of a weird, quirky brand. And so we did a little finagling, making sure that we still had the words like build ad audiences in there, because that's the positioning, but wanting to say it in a way that felt like really transformative, but also easy to understand.
When I say like, how do you get the entire company marching to the same beat? When you have a CEO like that, then it's not going to be like, hey, you need to be the one. I bet he already understands and he already sees the importance of it, of how he needs to lead this because this is a company's strategic endeavor and not just a marketing thing. So
yeah, exactly. And he's a fantastic leader that way, that it leads by example. And he's in there, he's writing code himself, because he just loves it so much. So yeah, he's also like has skin in the game, obviously.
Yeah. He's also podcasting with you.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you that in a bit, but I want to talk about that first, actually. Like, tell me about your podcast with Joshua.
Yeah.
Perk, Vector CEO. CEOs never get on podcast. Very rarely do they go, yes, we need to start a podcast. And yes, I will do the episodes with you. Very rare.
Yeah. And yes, I will travel to a creator house and film for 2 days straight with you.
That's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so how did you guys end up like landing on the conviction that you need to do a podcast?
So one is I had a pretty strong, like just in meeting Josh, he's very charismatic. He was made for like a podcast to be on screen. And also just our dynamic, like how he and I work together, I think is rare. We're actually like friends. Like the what you see on the podcast, if you watch the podcast, what you see like in our social content.
You're poking fun at each other.
We are.
And I love that too. It's like really fun to see the CEO and the head of marketing poking fun at each other in a way that is, this is actually pretty funny because it's happening, but people are crying about it in other companies. But for you guys, it's like, we're laughing, you know?
I think we get to say the stuff you wish you could say.
Yes.
To your CEO and vice versa, right? The CEO wishes they could say to their marketing leader. Well, here, let me back up a little bit. So the podcast is called This Meeting Could Have Been a Podcast. The idea is that you're basically getting dropped into our one-on-ones. And so each episode is just a different thing that he and I have tackled together. So episode 2 actually comes out by the time this goes live, it will be live, but it comes out on November 5th. And the first episode of this second season is called Jess Wants a Real Marketing Budget. Right. They're all kind of like, the next one is like, Josh wants to reposition the company. Right. And so it's like, what were the kind of the trade-offs we made? What were the discussions we had? Like, what was that like for a CEO and a marketing leader to go through these different things that marketing leaders and CEOs go through together all the time? But the original concept was not that. The original concept was this idea that we had called funnel cake. And it was this idea that we were going to each episode talk through a different thing that like modern marketers needed to possess the ability to do in order to do modern marketing. And every time he and I sat down to like outline it, or I would come to him with an idea about it, it didn't feel quite right. It felt a little forced. For some reason, we always kept going back to like talk about the product in a way that felt real salesy.
Yeah.
And so 8 or 9 days before we were set to fly out to record, like we have the recording date set, the location is paid for. And I was like, Josh, this isn't the show. Like, I think this is wrong. And I was like, give me 24 hours. I'm going to come back to you with a better idea. And so I texted some friends. I texted Chelsea Castle. I was like, if you could hear a CEO and a marketing leader talk like on a podcast, just the two of them, what would you want to hear? And what she gave back to me was like, I'd want to hear how they're making decisions together. Like, what do they disagree on? What do they agree on? Or what are the sticking points? What's the budget look like? And I was like, well, that just sounds like our one-on-ones, right? Like, ding, light bulb.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Anna, host of Building with Buyers. I started the show because I found that customers play such an important role in business growth, but they're often overlooked. We're so focused on net new. But the thing that makes you unique is not your product. There are so many companies solving the same problem, and they have customers too. The thing that makes you unique is your superfan customers. That's your moat. Most positioning and messaging is guesswork. I'm a customer insights and strategy advisor, and I help my clients by interviewing their customer superfans and translating those insights into clear and compelling positioning and messaging that specific people care about. So you get deeper engagement with customers and prospects, increased inbound to demos, better sales conversations, increased word of mouth, and closed deals. If you're done guessing, stumbling along, and want to be more customer obsessed, reach out. I'd love to help. And now back to the episode.
So was Chelsea Castle kind of like the one that gave you this idea?
Was, yeah.
She deserves credit.
I know she does. I've told her multiple times. I always send her like new episodes because, yeah, she was the one who really helped me realize like, oh, there's magic in just he and I chatting.
Yes.
And it's really just the packaging that we need to figure out.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it was born. And we fly down to Florida. We go to a studio for 2 straight days. We film 8 episodes. And all of the promotional content. And my brother edits it, which is like, so my brother's this incredibly talented like film editor. And so he
That's
edits.
how you do it. Early stage.
I know it. He's so great. And so now I get to be on like Zoom meetings with my brother, which is like, oh, just the best.
That
So
is amazing.
it's been a ton of fun. And it's been a really big avenue for people to find us and find out who we are and what we're about. And that's the goal.
Okay. I was going to ask you that, like, what was the goal with this podcast? And did you know if your target buyer was listening to podcasts, demand gen marketers? I mean, were you in Chris Walker's Demand Gen Live on those like Tuesday nights? Do you remember?
He never was. No.
Oh, you never? Okay. Well, there were a lot of demand gen conversations on that show.
Yeah.
And since then, it's kind of evolved. But yeah, I imagine demand gen marketers listen to podcasts. Is that kind of like what you have learned about them? Like, what channels are they hanging out in?
Yeah, podcasts for sure. YouTube is growing. So we're a video first podcast. So we're on YouTube and trying to expand my YouTube knowledge. There's so much to learn there that I have no idea about, but trying to get smarter. Communities, like a lot of community stuff. So we've done some event sponsorship type stuff and community dinners. We've done some stuff with Exit 5. Like that, what to me was like that's the model, right? Is okay, the popularity of that podcast alone tells me we're going to have an audience. We'll be okay.
Totally. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think people needed something like this because there are collabs between sales and marketing. I'm a Nevada advisor. And so Natalie and Ben do their podcast and where they chat together and, like sales and marketing and like misalignment and what does sales think? What does marketing think? Which is really interesting. But I think this is a different layer that we don't see often, which is marketer is sitting at the table with the CEO and invited to the conversation. And so now, like, what is the conversation and what are the decisions that need to be made? That's so fascinating. I love that. Okay, so tell me, like, how do you use research insights in order to be more creative with your marketing? I know that you see the value of research, obviously, from the beginning of our conversation, like talking to customers and doing messaging research, positioning stuff. How have you used research insights to get more creative? And we don't have to talk about just Vector. We could talk about your previous role at Island, which is also an amazing company and had amazing marketing leadership. And I had Ari on the show and he's blows my mind. You've worked for like a lot of really amazing folks. So
yeah, I have. I've had the privilege of working for some really, really smart people and learning from some really smart people. Well, I think research comes in so many forms, right? Like we talked already about, like that survey informed so much of our positioning. But my favorite kind of research is like, can you just tell me a story about like what this problem is like? And that always gives me just so many ideas. One such instance was when I was at Lasso, which is an event production company software.
They were on the podcast too.
Yeah. It's such a small world.
Yeah.
But they're event production software. These are like, salt of the earth people running an event production business using our software. And we had a new product coming out that was for inventory, right? So these event production companies, they have 7,000, cables and 400 microphones and 1,200 speakers, right? Like just an insane number of pieces of equipment because they're doing Rihanna's tour and then also the touring production of like Wicked and also the conference that's, at the next city over. And one of the products we came out with was like an inventory solution. So you would know which microphone was on Rihanna's tour and when it was coming back, right?
I would love to hold that microphone and be like, that was the microphone Rihanna just was singing into.
or like Sabrina Carpenter's hairbrush microphone. Have you seen that thing?
No.
Oh, she just debuted it on SNL. And it is like, when you're a girl and you're in your bedroom singing and you're singing
and you need to sing into your hairbrush, and she has a hairbrush.
She has a microphone that is a round hairbrush.
That's so smart.
Brilliant.
It's gonna fly off the shelf.
No, we all need one.
Yeah.
So they had this new solution and we had to do a launch for it. And so I just sat down. Some of the folks that were at Lasso had worked at event production companies in their inventory system, right? Like they were in the warehouse where all this stuff is housed. And I was like, what is it like in there? Like, what's it sound like? Is it cold? Is it hot? Like, how many people are there? Is it noisy? And so the story was basically like, okay, a truck comes in, we have to lift the big, like garage door. We're loading things in and out because all this stuff just came in from a conference and it's got to get to the, 2 cities over by tomorrow. And so we're unloading and loading, and you can hear the truck that's like beeping when it backs up, and you can hear all the carts wheeling around and people are yelling like, grab me that cable. We need 4 of them, and it's noisy. It's hot. They don't usually have air conditioning, And so like that there was like, okay, here's an idea. Like to launch this, could we do a video where all of this stuff is going on and it's first person and we see somebody's like pushing this cart of stuff, going to go load it somewhere. And they get this phone alert, right? And it pops up on the screen and it's like, your truck is, 2 minutes away or whatever. And like, that's like the whole thing, right? Like where it's just like, these are the moments where it's like, I just need to know what that environment is like so that I can build something realistic creatively.
Totally. I love that. I always like to simplify. What is the one question that you like to ask in research? And so often we kind of ask the questions on like, what do you like about the product? What do you not like about the product? We ask our customers things like that, or what other questions come up? Just like not as deep on an emotional level, more logical stuff that we want to know about. But this is where the emotional stuff comes through. And it's really understanding like how cold was it? How warm was it? How noisy was it? How did that make you feel? Like, and then we can start to like be in their shoes. And so this is like very similar to something that I worked on for a client where I was talking to customers about the problem and they would tell me things and they would actually tell me use cases based on the problem that we didn't really explore that. And they started using the product to cover that use case because nothing else really, they didn't have any other way. And they're like, well, let's just bring this thing in, right? And that's really interesting because then you explore something that you haven't explored before. And so how do we kind of then talk about that more? Because I bet you other people are actually doing that too. And just we don't talk about it because we didn't launch this thing to be used in that particular way, right? Yeah. That to me is fascinating.
That is.
When customers think of how to plug holes or how to like stop a problem from happening with a product that we didn't build for that. That's really fascinating.
That's a whole new product line you didn't even know about right there.
Or just talk about that use case, like where you have solutions up in the top nav bar. Yeah. That's another one for you, right?
Yeah. Can I tell you my favorite interview question?
Yes. What's your favorite interview question?
What happened on the day you decided you needed a solution like insert your solution's name here?
Yes. Because then you have to, it's kind of like therapy.
Yeah.
Because they never thought about it before, right? And now you're like, take me back. Take me back to that time. Let's talk through it. What was going on? Who did you talk to? Who did you not talk to? What were the activities, right? Behaviors, all that stuff. Yeah, I love that.
Tell me the story of the thing that broke the camel's back, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing that put you over the edge and you're like, we can't do it this way anymore.
Yeah. You threw your laptop against the wall and you're like, I'm done. Yeah. I need vector.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, curious, what do customers say? Like, what do people talk about where they're like, that's it. We decided to go with vector because it was just like, that was it. We were done. Like, what comes up in that kind of a question?
So much of it is people are just like sick of not knowing who they're spending money on, right? And with the technology that's available now, you can create an audience on LinkedIn or Meta or wherever you run your ads. And you can be very thoughtful about it and choose all the right parameters. And you'll still get people that show up and you're like, why did you even see that ad? Right? There's that old saying that's like, I know like half my budget worked. I just don't know which half. Right. And I think so many demand gen marketers feel that way because they're just putting their trust in this algorithm and that LinkedIn or wherever they're running their ads has the information and is going to do what they say they're going to do. And oftentimes it's just not the case. You just can't get specific enough in those platforms. And so a lot of people are just coming to us looking for a new way. They just want to try it. They just want to be like, it's something's got to be better than what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I know that there are people coming to my site that I don't even realize are there. We have had a customer tell us before, like, Vector helped us identify opportunities of companies and people we didn't even know were interested in us until like they started showing up a bunch of times on our visitor feed. So I think it just gives people a level of visibility they've never had before. And it's funny, you really think differently about things when you know who is looking at something.
Well, listen, I don't like paying for stuff for people that I know, my kids.
Yeah.
So like, I can't even imagine how it is like paying for stuff for people that you don't even know.
Right.
That's awful. So
yeah, I know. I've bought enough Awalas to last a lifetime. I love my kids, but we got too many Awalas.
We got too many too.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know. It's like ever since that trend started, it's like, I need another water bottle and another one and another one. No, you don't. You don't need. Drink from the drinking fountain. That's how we did it back in the day. That's all you need.
Like, I don't think I drank water as a kid. Like, my parents didn't chase me around with a water bottle. It was like, I don't know. That just wasn't a thought.
It was
weird.
not.
No.
And somehow we made it with that.
Look at us. We're doing
Look at us. Yeah. Okay. So that's fascinating. I like also hearing like what your favorite research question is because, well, I mean, that's music to my ears. The fact that you do this research even, right? And then the things that you like to focus on. Customer marketing, since we're talking so heavily on like the role that customers play and, customer research and using that to help inform strategic business decisions. Customer marketing. Tell me more about how you incorporate that right now at Vector. And actually, the fact that you even do, I think that companies do customer marketing. They just don't like have a team dedicated to it. Everyone's kind of doing customer marketing because it's case studies, it's testimonial snippets or video clips or whatever you're doing, right? But you guys are kind of taking it a step further. Tell me more about how you're incorporating customers into your growth efforts.
We do a number of things. And I think we're really lucky to have customers who are really excited about what we're doing, are excited to kind of be a part of our content and our brand engine. And so we've used them in a number of ways. So one is I did a pilot, an influencer pilot earlier this year. And half of our influencers were customers, were Vector customers. That was a big one for us because, to get a customer to agree to be an influencer for you means like the world. The fact that they're going to publicly speak about you, put their name on it, sing your praises. Not everyone's willing to do that. And so I think it says a lot that we have multiple customers that are willing to like take up a day in their personal posting schedule to talk about us. So that's a big one. Another one is we, obviously there's two of us, so we don't do a ton of big case studies right now or huge like testimonial videos, but what we do collect, we use everywhere. So even for this new repositioning, we had a handful of quotes and just kind of like proof of success kind of statistics that they were willing to let us put on the website that we also repurposed into social content for those customers. So we kind of put that back to them and said, hey, we created this for you. It would mean the world if you would, put it out on launch day. And we had quite a few of them do that for us. We have customers who will do, reference calls for us, onboarding.
Oh, they do onboarding?
They'll help us with the onboard, right? Like if they're like, hey, this customer's really getting stuck here. Even Isaac's a great one. He'll be like, yeah, let me talk to him for a little bit, right? So I think just seeing the types of customers who are using us is a signal to people that like, oh, it's probably a good fit for me then too. We're kind of at a similar stage. We have a similar team structure. We're just as invested in demand gen and growth marketing as that brand is. So yeah, I think we're really lucky to be able to have customers who allow us to like talk publicly about them and what they're doing. And we have created some case studies as well. But we kind of put them in the form of like a playbook, which is kind of fun. And so we'll build.
That's a unique way to do case studies.
It's cool. So it's kind of like we give folks the recipe that our customers are using to build ad audiences through Vector. And we kind of give that visibility to them, just to kind of see like, here's what our customer is doing. And if you want to run the same play, here are the things you need to do that.
I love that. That is taking the case study a step further to get under the rug and like actually share out what makes that customer successful. I love that idea so much.
Exactly. It's great. And those are some of our top performing pieces of content.
Oh, good to know. For the influencer pilot, do you think you're going to continue with the influencer program? Like, what do you think? Like, how did it go?
Yeah.
And is it just like social posts or do you incorporate anything else?
So let me tell you about this pilot because I was really, really excited about this program. I was super apprehensive and super nervous, and it went really well for us. So when I built my budget for the back half of the year, I included a small kind of testing budget for influencers. I had $12,000. And I said, I want to run a pilot for a quarter and just see what happens. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I just want to find 7 or 8 people, some of which are customers, and have them post once a month, and we'll see what happens. So the budget was specifically for compensating these influencers for their posts. We did 7 influencers, 3 of which were customers, a post a month for 3 months. And I didn't give them UTM tracking links.
Good for you, Jess.
I didn't want to overdo it. I was
Good for you.
I just wanted to like directionally know, is this doing something for us? So the first month I aligned with a product launch. So this was the launch that helped us test some of our like ad positioning messaging. And so I wanted to use the influencers to help us kind of spread that a bit and see what would happen. The second month we took those survey results that were part of the repositioning research. And we gave them to the influencers and we're like, hey, just talk about like maybe pick one of these kind of data points and talk about its implications and why it seems interesting to you. So that was the second month. And the third month was a promotion of a core product. And I gave them kind of a handful of questions that were like, what could you not do before that you could with this product? Or how do you think differently about reporting with this product? Things like that. Just to help inspire some posts.
By the way, I really like the fact that you picked influencers that are like 12,000, 13,000 followers, something like that, which I think is the sweet spot because those people still care about what you have to say versus when it's like, I have 100,000 followers. Who's actually like, how do you know that the people that see this person's posts are in your target audience? Like, by that time, it's spread out so much, right?
Yeah.
So being super focused on that level. I mean, I don't love the name influencer, honestly. I think it should just be like somebody with followers, somebody that has some good things to say and people want to listen, but it's too long. So
yeah, exactly.
Creator maybe is better. Creator might be better. But anyways, go ahead.
No, that's a great point to bring up. So we had an average across all of our influencers, for lack of a better term, of 13,000 followers. So these were not, like mega influencers. These were folks who just had a lot of trust from the people who were following them.
That's the key. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So $12,000 we started with. Over those 3 months, we had 45 demos booked where LinkedIn or an influencer name was the lead source. 82% of those were ICP fit. And so that equated to about 1.1 million in pipeline off of $12,000.
Nice. I would say that's pretty successful from these.
Wildly. Like,
that's amazing.
Never in my dreams would I have guessed that would have happened.
Yeah.
So we're absolutely going to continue it. A couple things I want to try differently this time. I'd like to dip our toe into video a little bit and ask some folks to do some video for us. I'd like to try promoting some of these posts. So we did very, very little of that. I wanted the data to be really clean and just see like organic reach only. And we're actually going to dip our toe a little bit into the sponsorship world, like podcast sponsorship that also comes with an influencer kind of piece to it.
Partnership, sponsor partner. Yeah,
Yes.
that's smart. Mhm.
So we're going to do a handful of extra things. I'm really excited about it. I will probably this time around track it a little bit more tightly. But I think much past that, like I need to get some help. I need to get an agency or something like that. It then quickly becomes something I won't be able to manage myself.
Your brother. No, your brother. No, just kidding. That's amazing. All right. So we talked about your positioning changing yesterday. We're very fresh off the press. We talked about research insights and how to use that to be more creative. We talked about your podcast and how the CEO is on it and how cool he is. We talked about customer marketing efforts. Can we talk about AI for a second? Just a second. I don't like to just, steamroll AI across my podcast, but I have to ask, how are you using it? What do you think? What's going on where you're pleasantly surprised and it's really useful? Anything that sort of scares you about it? But yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
I use AI a lot. Big fan. One of the big, heavy lifts I use it for is founder-led content. So when I first started, I wanted our founders, Nick and Josh, to be more active on LinkedIn. They were already posting, but it was pretty sporadic. I wanted it to be more consistent, but I wanted it to feel like them. And so what I started doing was I trained a Claude project on their tone and voice and structure, post structure, because they're very different people. They write very differently. And then every 2 weeks, I sit down with them and I record just a chat like this, where I'm like, hey, I heard this from a customer. What do you think about that? This popped up for me on LinkedIn. How does that affect us? Just kind of relevant, timely stuff that I want to ask them about and get their thoughts on. We had a lot to talk about during this repositioning because we were kind of trying to precede that a little bit with what kind of stuff can you do with contact level information with ads, right? Talk to me about that. And so what I do is I take that transcript, I run it back through Claude, and I get some posts that are, probably 80% of the way there. I do a bit of editing. I hand it off to them. They do a bit of editing, and then they're posting, more consistently three times a week or so on LinkedIn. But it's their words, it's the stuff they said.
Yeah.
In their voice and their tone and with their, human intervention on it, making sure it feels like them and something they're proud to put their name on. So that's a big one I've done.
I love that use case of AI, actually.
Yeah.
What a great one. But also your CEO and their co-founders, right?
Yes.
They're both very open to let's sit down and talk because we know that content is valuable and we need to spend time on it. And so that is already a hurdle, an obstacle that you don't have to, figure out. So the fact that you sit down with them, that's their words, that's their brain. And then you're using Claude, which actually does a really nice job in terms of writing.
Yes.
Versus ChatGPT, for example.
Agreed.
You use it for founder-led social copy. That's great. Do you use Claude for any other writing? Do you turn that into any other writing?
So another thing I did, when we launched this new positioning yesterday, I wanted Josh to have a blog post titled why we reposition Vector around ad audiences. And so, all summer we've talked about this, why are we doing this? And what are your thoughts on this? And what about, target audience? Can you talk to me about some of the problems you were going to solve for them? Right. And I took all those transcripts and I put it into Claude and I was like, this is what I want. This is the outline of the blog post I want for him, using what he has said. Build that out for me, right?
Do you organize your conversations? Or you just kind of search for it, whenever you had conversations around? Because I imagine organization has to be a part of this. Because how do you need to find those recordings and feed it in? Yeah. Are you pretty organized, Jess?
No.
Okay.
It's all in one spot. It's all where I record it, right? So we use StreamYard for a long time. We just moved to Goldcast. So all the stuff is in StreamYard. I am very organized in that every time I would send them the document with their kind of their posts on it for revisions and approval, I would put at the top like the link to the recording where I pulled all of this from. So like I was able to go back into those and kind of find like, oh, we talked about that on this recording date, so I can go back in, right? So I guess that's kind of, I don't go further than that.
That's fine, Jess.
Okay.
That's organized enough.
Okay. Thank
You have a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old?
Yes.
That's organized.
Okay, thank you. I feel better.
That's amazing. Okay, so
I have one more big AI use case.
Okay, tell me.
Programmatic SEO.
Tell me more.
Yeah. SEO is not dead. SEO is a big traffic driver for us. Something that we've been experimenting with and seeing some really good success with is programmatic SEO. So we take kind of almost a Mad Lib type approach to this, where let's say the keyword we want to focus on is de-anonymize website visitors or identify website visitors. And so we can kind of take that and we can build kind of a few branches off of that. So does HubSpot identify website visitors? Does 6th Sense identify website visitors? Does Vector identify website visitors? Right. And so we can essentially take the same blog post structure, and using AI, we can fill in that outline, that structure with, let's say, 20 different queries worth of information. We can publish those in bulk on the website, and we can see which handful really take off. And then those handful are the few we jump back into and we expand upon, and we really flesh out for, the people who are searching for that term. So that's been a big one for us that I'm really excited about.
Brilliant. I love that example. Okay, also another really good one. Jess.
Yes.
We're out of time.
Oh, man.
And your beanies, no help here, because beanies don't help with more time. So, but it was awesome just like chatting through what you're up to. You guys have like a really smart, nimble team. That's why I love early stage startups, because you're just doing so much and being really creative. And it sounds like you've got some great leadership. So Jess, thank you for joining me. Jess is on LinkedIn. Find her, Jess Cook -content marketing, because, now you're head of marketing. So
I can't get.
You didn't know that was coming, huh?
I know that. No, you could have asked me a year and a half ago and I'd have been like, nah, it's always going to be content.
That's okay. You're always content in our hearts. That's fine.
That's right.
And Vector, if you want to explore, check out Vector at vector.co. And Jess, you're such a pleasure. You're so fun to hang out with.
Likewise.
Can you bring your kids over? We'll just like have a play date.
Let's do that. That's amazing. Oh my God.
We're probably not in the same town, but that's okay.
No.
Are you in Chicago by chance?
I'm in Michigan, so we're close.
We're close.
We can make it happen.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks so much. So good to finally actually sit down and chat with you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Building with Buyers. New episodes drop weekly, so make sure you're following wherever you get your podcasts. You can find me on LinkedIn, Anna Furmanov. Visit my website to learn more about how to turn customer insights into positioning and messaging your buyers will understand. FurmanovMarketing.com. And don't forget to leave a review if you're loving the show.